Good morning. How's everybody? This is Judy at Artistic Artifacts in Alexandria, Virginia. So we're here for our regularly scheduled 9:30 Facebook Live East Coast time. We will post this on our YouTube channel. We will save it on our Facebook, so you'll be able to view it over and over. Anyway, so we're glad that you're here today. And last month, January, we talked about fodder and how to make different types of things using fabric and mixed media supplies. So today, we're going to take some of the fabric paper and look at some projects and things. So that's what's coming. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about announcements and a couple of things that I figured out as I went along and practiced at home. With some of these tricks and trades that I've been showing you. So first of all, this is a vote for our local quilt shop, and I think Chris has posted the QR code on our Facebook page. And this is a really national-wide contest. It is a contest. But that's kind of spearheaded by Annie products, which we sell. But you don't have to sell. So you can go in and nominate your local quilt store. You can nominate us. That we would just love. It's an opportunity to participate and show the quilting community how important the quilting community is. So they have other sponsors. I think Jaftex is a sponsor. Schmitz is one. There's a couple other people, but I think
Craft Industry
Alliance, which we are a member of that as well. But it's I don't know how to say this. Okay, it's really, really awesome because when you vote for this, you have to tell them why. And as a shop owner, especially on a day that maybe the planets did not align and things are tough or something happens that's not going your way, and then you start reading these absolutely awesome comments about your store, your community, and it just, as a shop owner and a person, I can't tell you how much I value it. I value you, and I value your comments. My staff was very aware of them. You call people out by name. It's just really, you kind of, for me, it's not about the contest. It's really about the comments. And I want to reach as many people as we can. That's what my staff is all about, is the community and reaching all those people. So thank you for those of you who have voted already. Thank you for your amazingly wonderful comments, and we hope that those of you who have not gotten to it yet will vote for us too.
So we've got lots of people watching. Mom and Dad just said good morning from sunny Florida. Just a reminder is we will put any links of the things that Judy's talking about. We will put them in after the fact.
Right.
We're working on a one-man crew this morning for the video, so we'll get back to you when we're finished.
Yeah, definitely we do that. Okay, so the other announcement that we have is about our Mixed Media Creative Summit. So this is a weekend of mixed media fiber art. So these teachers, we had our first inaugural session last year. We've moved it to April, and these are the dates, the 19th, 20th, 21st. Come take one class, come take 3 classes. It's all up to you. It is something that we felt was really important to grow our mixed media fiber art community. And every one of the participants from last year asked for us to bring the same teachers back. So that's what we did. They said it was so hard to choose from the classes that they wanted an opportunity to come back. So there are still spaces available. I wouldn't wait. If you could go ahead and make your registration, that would be awesome. We've started a Facebook group community for the participants of the Creative Summit. You must be registered with us to be able to get into the Facebook, but it's an idea of being able to communicate with people. Oh, do you want to carpool? Do you want to go have dinner one night? Do I need to share a room? Those are the things that it's for. And it's for teachers to communicate with you as well. I think Liz already has a conversation and a video about her needle felting class. What do you need? What kind of materials do you want to bring? That type of stuff. So that's very good. So that is for the Creative Summit for this year. If anybody has any questions about it, please email us. We will do our best to get back to you about any details. We had a room block at the Hilton last year. We're gonna try, I have not had time, I'm sorry. We'll look at maybe the Marriott down the street. So on Eisenhower Avenue, you can look for, there's definitely hotels available. Springfield is another area that's relatively close to us. Alexandria tends to be maybe a little expensive. So, but it's Alexandria, which is an amazing place to visit. So if you come for the summit, also think about maybe some sightseeing, whether it's in Washington, D.C., we're 20 minutes away, or downtown Alexandria, which is in the top 5 places to visit in the United States. So,
and it's springtime in the area.
And it's springtime, yes. So yeah, we're looking forward to another sellout, which we sold out last year, so we're looking to sell out this year. So we're happy about that. We have lots of planning, lots of events going on that will be coming up. The newsletter system that we have has been a little tricky for the last year or so. We know that there's definitely been problems where customers who have wanted our emails have not gotten them. I'm really sorry about that. We have changed providers as of February 1st. Now, this does not mean our troubles is over. It just means that they go through a process that's called warming up. We had to go through a lot of verifications and requirements. It's really getting complicated to do some of this stuff online in the online world, but we've done it. But so we send a newsletter Monday and Wednesday. If you think you have signed up for that and you are not getting it, just send us a quick email and say, send us what your address is that you have registered with us, your name, and we'll work on it. But just know for the next month, they're in the warm-up process. And that's what we're working on now. We've been told that this provider is much better than our previous one. So that is, hopefully will make a positive change. All right, so that's kind of the housekeeping items. We definitely have events coming up. BERNINA events, if you're interested in purchasing a 790 Pro, you're going to want to contact us. April is a long arm. February is embroidery month, so there's we have a Buy-Any trunk show in March. I'm kind of getting geared up to be able to have some events. We have wonderful classes coming, and just look for the newsletter. There'll be announcements in that, and we're trying to plan the whole year out, so we give you as much notice as we can. All right, any questions so far? Okay, so
lots of hellos.
Okay, good, thank you. So last week we talked about photos transfers, where you're taking the ink and transferring it. Well, I just wanted to show you a bad one. All right, so this was with the wash away, and I put too much matte medium on it. So I put matte medium on the fabric and I put matte medium on the picture, and I got it all gooped up. So you notice I didn't throw it away because maybe there's some way I could use it. And then I did a number. This one was matte medium on the fabric only, which is what Liz does, and that worked out okay. So that was kind of I wanted to show you, it can be messed up, and everybody does it, and you just throw it away or figure out a way to use it. So I wanted to show you that. And speaking of the felting class with Liz, this is a piece by Teresa. She is a fabulous artist who has retired and is part of our community, and we miss her. And she did this felted piece, and there's a little piece of silk paper in here. And if you can see, she didn't needle felt a lot of it. She kept the integrity of the silk paper in there and created this little piece. Has a little hanger on it. It's really quite fun. It looks like a beautiful leaf. And this is this painter's thread gimp, which is, that's been couched there. It's awesome. And a little bit of hand dyed. So this is, you know, kind of the felting idea that Liz is going to work you through. That class should be really, really great. All right. These are also by Teresa using silk paper. So she's got thread in here, sequins, a little bit here, and this is kind of soft, and those threads just highlight the silk paper, which is what we did 2 weeks ago. And then this is another one of hers, which have these fabulous skeleton leaves. This is a little bit, you can tell the base is the silk paper, it's a little bit heavier, and that's there. And she's got some sequins and some ribbons and things. So they stand alone very nicely as on their own. So for those of you who haven't tried it, we're sorry we sold out of the textile medium so fast, but we have more coming, we promise. So
I believe it's back in stock.
We shipped a lot of back orders.
Oh, okay.
And we're waiting for more.
Okay.
So it's coming, it's coming. I'm sorry. So, but we're working on it. All right. So today we're going to talk about fabric paper. So that's what we did the first weekend in February, is we created fabric paper. Let me just grab a piece. I'll be right back. This is muslin with napkins, tissue paper, woodblock printing, stamp printing. So this is a layered piece of what we call fabric paper. And I didn't invent this, I just picked it up somewhere, and you can see that stuff comes through on the back, but this is a muslin base. I've also done this process with shears. So if you have polyester sheer fabrics, that you can actually do the same process on it, but you can hang it in the window and light will shine through it. So that's another way of using this technique. So what did I make with it? Well, this was actually paper, silk fabric paper that we made, and a transfer artist transfer, the bird. So I sewed the paper together, and I used DecoBob, which is an 80 weight thread. If you can see it, it's right there. So I did not try to create a seam that opened. I laid the pieces on top of each other.
What needle size did you use for that?
Most of the time I have a 90 needle in my machine.
So the holes would be smaller if you switched your needle?
Yes, if you did, you know, an 80, you possibly that would be okay. But you are punching permanent holes in your fabric paper. So this one was done, and what I did also then was I fused batting to the back. Here's the batting, and this is just some fabric for the backing. Now, my question that I have at the moment is, how am I going to finish it? Well, I could just finish the edge, raw edge, hand stitch it. I could machine stitch it in a buttonhole and a straight stitch to hold it together. But I actually did, on this piece, which you've seen before, I did do a binding. And that's possible to do, and I haven't made up my mind. I kind of like bindings.
I think a silk ribbon binding.
That would be good too. Green all the way around couching.
Green silk ribbon. So
that works there. So this is my very first piece that I did using silk paper. So this piece is it's been handled quite a bit. Vintage pieces of trims. This is a transfer artist paper on a rusted piece. And so that one was one of my first pieces.
So were those napkins where like this piece here is?
This was actually from some Japanese tissue paper that I bought at Art and Soul in Virginia Beach a long time ago, or Hampton. This one woman had this great tissue paper, but you can use, this is Japanese tissue paper, you can use regular tissue paper. Napkins are awesome because they have such great prints, and I'll show you something that I have for that one. All right, then this is the other piece that I think you have seen before, where I've used the fabric paper as a background to a photo. So again, this is transfer artist paper, this is silk paper, and this is fabric paper. That's all on a quilted base. I've seen that before. All right. So then I made a couple of cards. So these are pretty easy, where you just take your pieces of fabric paper and you cut them and weave them together. And if you notice, I try to not have my fabric the same width. I look at trying to do things in different. Sometimes I will print my pictures of butterflies on fabric, or sometimes it's paper. But I love these Strathmore mixed media cards, which we do sell in a 10-pack, because they take a lot of abuse and a lot of liquid on them, and they just have, they finish really nicely. And it's actually one of my favorite papers to use for journals, because I can just cube it up and I know it's not going to curl and it's going to dry okay. The other thing I made was, this is a wood block, and I'm sorry, we might be out of it, but we'll get more. We can always get more. That I block printed on a piece of fabric paper. Now again, you can see the seam here. I did not do anything, so I'm folding, the seam is not on the inside. I make the seam part of the design feature because it's going to be next to impossible to turn this inside out. So if I was stitching with both sides together, to flip it back out would be ridiculous. Now, I learned this trick from Lisa Ellis years and years ago. So I sew this all the way around. So I don't leave the bottom open, I don't leave the top, and then I slit the fabric in the back, and I stuff with cotton balls. So I'd learned a long time ago that cotton balls are much harder than fluff that you kind of do stuffed animals, and I want it to be hard. Then I take a piece of Misty Fuse, put a scrap piece of fabric over it, and I close it up. But I wanted to show you about making the stitching around this way, and this was with DecoBob also, so you really don't see it. Okay, this piece, you can see that I used my clips to hold my pieces together. So this is,
those are Wonder Clips.
Wonder Clips, yes, thank you. So I took fabric paper and cut the hearts out, made sure that I had one for each side. And then I wanted to make it a little bit of a hanging piece, and I found some of these wool balls in my stash, and I used them. So I laid down this, I placed the hearts, I put soft gel on the hearts to glue them together. And then I just used my Wonder Clips to hold it together overnight and walked away. Oh, I did feed the wool balls on there first, then placed the hearts, and then glued them. So I used soft gel.
And is that a sari ribbon?
It is a sari ribbon. That's my favorite. And this bird will be decorated with sari ribbon too. So we'll have that as well. And this is an old piece that I did a long time ago. Again, I think I've shown this to you, but I took these pieces. This was experimenting with hot glue and a metallic pen, but I hand stitched. And you can see, I used a little bit of a felt background to hold it together, and I stitch. You can see my stitching there. And I never really finished it, whether I put a piece over it to side the stitching or not. I just have never gotten back to this. And there's some beads in there. On to other things. Okay, so there's some kind of suggestions on how to use the paper and some ideas. So now let me show you a couple other things.
Are you coming to the machine? Or you want to go there?
Oh, yeah, let's go to the machine. Okay, sorry. So what I wanted to show you on the machine, you know, I'm a Wonderful dealer. I love their threads. I really, really enjoy using them. So what I thought might be interesting is I use the Deco thread so you couldn't see it, the DecoBob. But let's look at some different threads just with a straight stitch to see what happens. All right, so let's see. This is the CAFE edition 770. And what I have in here now is regular thread. So it is going to be a 50 weight. And
it's a confetti.
It's a confetti. So when I sew these pieces together, I don't sew a seam this way and then open it up. It's too hard. Just let's not make it hard on ourselves. So what we're going to do is we would place it like this down here. All right. Feed dogs are down, sorry. They were doing needlework. So let's just try. So with a Bernina, we can change the length on the go, but it cuts automatically. So here it becomes a little bit more of a design feature. And this was a small length. I think that the bigger length is actually better. So this is with a regular size versus the DecoBob, and of course it's a red on against a green, so you're really going to show it up. Now let's see if I can do this correctly. Except for Barbara took my, all right. So this was a 90 weight thread, a 90 weight, 90 thread, needle. Oh yeah. Words, they're there somewhere. Notice I pull my thread down. All right.
Can you save that thread snip for,
for later?
For more fabric paper.
And thread and silk paper, yes, we never get rid of it. That is for sure. I even save my hand stitching. All right. Okay. So I'm taking my 90 needle out and I'm putting my 100 in. Flat back. This is a cool little thing to make sure your needle is seated correctly. And we used to hand tighten your needles, but they don't recommend that anymore. And I actually, when I cheat and do that, the needle falls out. All right, so this is a 12 weight thread. And I can usually get it through. Now, of course, it's not going to work on me now, but I can usually get it in there. You're not supposed to be able to do that, but I can. Works for me. Always trim here. All right, so I left my length long, so I have a longer stitch like here. Now I have a bigger thread, so let's see what happens. Ooh, somebody did that. Oh, that's fun. Look at that.
Well, it really makes a difference to use the 12 weight.
It does. It's really wonderful, and it becomes part of the
and that's the
plan.
That's the spaghetti.
The spaghetti. Yep.
a cotton thread.
Yes, you can. And any 12 weight thread. So Glamour could work. The cotton is good. You can use polyester. You can use any kind of thread that you want, but I think the longer stitch on the fabric paper is better. So let's just see.
So, 2 questions about the tool that you use. Does that come with the machine?
No, we sell this separately online.
And what is
and you're
it
gonna
called?
ask me what it's called. I don't know. The needle holder thingy. Okay. I'll find out.
I'll put the link in the video when we're finished.
It's really saved me some grief because it has the hole that's like the needle, so it's a flat back. So you're making sure that your needle is getting seated into your sewing machine correctly, and it saved me quite a bit.
So Linda, the size needle depends more on the thread than the paper or the silk fodder.
Correct.
So she used, the first needle was a 90, and then with the 12 weight she switched to the 100.
Correct. Okay. All right. And I used the DecoBob with a 90 also, but you could go 80. You'd be fine.
And you had DecoBob in the bobbin for that.
I did bobbin and top thread DecoBob. Okay. The other thing that I did was I created some fabric beads. Oop, they really got mushed. Okay. Well, okay. That's a design feature, isn't it? So I used to make fabric jewelry, and I found that these coffee stirrers are really necessary if you ever want to string your beads. And what'll happen is I'll cut them down. But you don't need a lot. So this one is what created this round piece here. And the trick is, I use soft gel. You can use glue, but I use soft gel. There. All right, so the idea of the credit card helps you get the glue on thin. So you don't over glue things. And then you just take, okay, yeah, you just roll it. And the fabric paper is a little tougher than regular fabric or regular paper. But anybody who has made paper beads in the past, you can do any of those shapes with the paper beads. And as I said, I have found that having the coffee stirrer inside adds support to a fabric bead and allows you to string them much easier than not. So I always have those with me. All right.
Was the brand of paper that you used for the cards was Strathmore?
Strathmore Mixed Media. That's my favorite. Okay. So I'm always trying to tell you guys to not overthink things. Okay? To just be in the moment. Let it happen. So this piece, this is what I'm talking about, sheer. So this was a sheer and I added it. So that was the one piece I brought. So rather than putting it on muslin, I put it on sheer, and if you put it in the window, you're gonna have light come through it.
You can see it.
Yeah. All right, this is another piece that I really, really liked. I used a lot of paint, and I used a stamp with words. This was a napkin, this was tissue paper, but the stamping really, and the paint does add another layer. So the stamping I would do after it's dry, and it will work fine. All right, so I walked through the store. This is my other piece, and I walked through my store today, and I'm like, okay, what can I do? I like this piece here. I keep looking at it. Here we go. So I'm gonna create a little piece. All right. So here we go. Maybe I'm gonna
leave that on.
Leave that on? Okay. All right. So let's see what colors. I picked this. So
oh, is that a piece of wool?
That's a piece of wool. And let's see, I can do, these are small pieces, so we want them to go this way. Okay, your scraps you want. So we got this, then this. Alright, and then I'm just going to do a little bit of accent to pull my pink into it. I was thinking that I would use my salvage, but I think I like it. So I don't usually put things in halves, so like this is right down the middle of it. So I generally will do it in thirds. So that's kind of my design feature, is that we'll do right there.
Those blenders work really nicely because they get that texture without, and the color.
Without a pattern that's going to fight with my birds.
Distract from it.
So there you go, I'm done. So that's what it's like having your basket of fodder and being able to create your piece. You know, you have all your it becomes type of fabric and a choice. So what does this look like? So here, down, here. I don't know, we could play with it either way, but I was trying to think getting another cross element in there, but I really like this teal. Where do you think?
Right here.
Yeah. And I would probably put some beads on it. I probably would put some, you know, you could just literally stitch it down. I would probably fuse this piece to this piece with Misty Fuse. So, but that's how easy it is when you have the drawer of supplies ready to go. When you have your stash of fabric paper, you can do things very quickly. And you know, I'm all about instant gratification. I don't have a lot of time. A lot of you don't have a lot of time. So I just need something to get my juices going. So I will finish this and show you next week. I hope. And but that's kind of what I'm make these things for the joy of making them, not for a specific product or project or whatever. So just make them to enjoy that process. You know, it's like going back to kindergarten and finger painting. It's really wonderful. So any questions?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. Can't think of, I gave you my announcements. I don't need to repeat them.
Go vote.
Go vote, please. We'd love to have your votes, and very much the comments go right straight to my heart, and I appreciate your support of us. And it's been almost a 16-year journey, which is just amazing to me to think about that process of how we've done this and how we've grown and changed. And our community's been with us the whole way. So thank you very much for joining us today, and have a creative day.